Hey, it's Gino here from Real Everyday English. So this week we're going to be looking at some British English phrasal verbs using the word turn. Let's do this. Happy Sunday, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're feeling good. I'm feeling fantastic. So without any further ado, let's get into the topic of this week's video. So, phrasal verbs with the word turn. Now, if you don't know what the word turn means, there are two main uses that we have for the word turn. One is to move something in a circular direction, either wholly or partly. So, for example, I am turning my head because it's moving in a circular motion. So that is a verb, to turn something. You can turn a wheel, you can turn a dial. And the next one is a noun, and we use it as a noun to describe a bend in a road, path, river, whatever. So if you're driving down the road, you can say, you need to take this left turn. You need to take this left turn. And that's what it is, it's describing the bend in the road. Okay, on to the phrasal verbs. Now, this first one is specifically British. I don't think they use this in America or the rest of the English-speaking world. But basically, it is to turn in. And to turn in means to arrive or go to work on a particular day. It's the action of going to work and arriving at work for a particular day. So to give you an example, if someone doesn't come to work on a particular day, we often describe it as they haven't turned in. So for example, if my boss phones me on the phone and asks me, where's Chris today? I can say, oh mate, he's not turned in. He's not turned in, or he hasn't turned in, which is grammatically correct, but us in the north here will say, oh, he's not turned in. It's like a contraction. So he hasn't turned in. Or you could say to someone, if you knew they were going out to a party at night and they were working the next day, you could say, you'd better turn in for work tomorrow. You'd better turn in for work tomorrow. And it's kind of saying you still have to go to work even though you're going to a party. So yeah, that's the phrasal verb to turn in, and it means to show up for work, basically. The next one is to turn into, and this basically means to become. So, to give you an example, you could say something like, I had a small problem to begin with, but it turned into an absolute disaster. So you had a small problem to begin with, but it changed into a much more serious problem, and we would use turned into to describe that. Another phrasal verb with the word turn is to turn up. Now, there are two main uses for this phrasal verb. The first one is to increase the setting of a particular function. So, for example, we talk about this with volume quite a lot. I'm currently playing a YouTube video through my other phone, but the volume is so low that you can't hear it. It's coming through this speaker here. See the speaker? So I need to turn up the volume. And now you can hear it. So that's to turn up, and that's the first meaning. Second meaning of the phrasal verb to turn up is to put in an appearance or to arrive at a particular place. So if I am waiting for someone and they're not here yet and they should have been here, say 10 minutes ago, I could say to somebody else, I've been waiting here for 20 minutes but they still haven't turned up. They still haven't turned up, and it means they haven't arrived yet. Next phrasal verb is to turn out. Now, we have a particular use for the phrasal verb turn out in England, in Britain, and it basically means to go on a night out to the bars and clubs, whatever. So you'll often hear the question, did you turn out last night? Did you turn out last night? And it means, did you go out last night? but it means in particular to bars and clubs, and that is a chiefly British use. They don't use that in the rest of the English-speaking world. Another meaning of the phrasal verb to turn out is to go somewhere to attend, and usually an event or a meeting or something like that. And this is a more general term that is used in the rest of the English-speaking world as well. So to give you an example, you'll often hear people reading out on the news, for example, say there was a big event, a big concert, and the news reporter might say something like, over 5,000 people turned out to see the event. And it means that over 5,000 people went to the event, basically. Okay, and the next one is the opposite to turn up. So we have turn down. And the first meaning of turn down is to decrease a setting or function. So when I gave you the example before of turning up the volume so you could hear it, to turn down would be the opposite of that. So I'd be turning it down so then you couldn't hear it, so then you can hear me speak more clearly, for example. The other meaning of turn down is to reject or not accept an offer or contract or something like that. So to give you an example, I could say something like, my boss offered me a shift on Saturday. In other words, he asked me to work on Saturday. He offered me a shift on Saturday, but I turned it down. And it means I rejected it. It basically means I don't want it. Another great phrasal verb using the word turn is to turn around. Now, to literally turn around means to turn around. So if I wanted to see something behind me, I would need to turn around in order to see it. The other meaning of this, though, is to reverse a situation or problem, so kind of reverse the outcome. So I could give you an example of that. If I'm running a business, I have a shop, and I could say, for the last couple of months, the shop hasn't been selling as much product as I would like, but I managed to turn it around and start making a profit again. So in other words, I managed to flip the result of the problem and turn it around in a positive manner. I hope you understand. As always, please feel free to share this video far and wide if you found it useful. I want to ask you all to do me a favour. If you could select your favourite real everyday English video and share it on your social media, that would help me to help more people, and I'd be truly appreciative if you could do that. Until the next video, bye bye for now, ciao.